Greetings and welcome to Shadowstar. Ordinarily it would be aboard the Shadowstar, but welcome aboard the USS Celestial Rose for the Star Trek Online visual review. Finally, we get to look at a STO era relevant variant of the Nova class, and the Tier 6 Nova has been long desired. The Equinox class scout ship. Damn, she's a beautiful ship. Now, we'll do this in several stages. A quick look, well, a decent look at customization. Then, we'll have a nice final look at the detailing within demo record. And from there, we'll take a look at different vanity shield options and vanity appearances of the Equinox with its typical loadout. Now, before we go any further, please also allow me to give thanks to Negus, Dante Demonic, Skyhawking, Tribal Typhoon, XG Blackbird, Travis Games, Spike, Captain Rig, Miss Future Teach, and Fox Plays Games. Oh, and Lord Armiger for the incredible generosity they have shown in supporting this channel and helping to make this video possible. If you want to get shout outs like they have, the links are in the description. But with that being said, at the incredible generosity of our YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, and donators, shall we begin? So, hello Equinox, a beautiful and incredible vessel. So, as we go on, there are a couple of things I'll have to talk about, but first, we are in customization. Let's cover this. Templates that you have alongside this ship are the Aurora, the Nova, and the Quasar. If you have purchased it, you will have the Rhode Island. It's a Zen Starship or dilithium ship now. The Equinox is a very fine vessel, but it's got a couple of weaknesses. These weaknesses are such. As they said in the 10 forward, it's designed to be more uniform, one body. The distinction between saucer and hull are not supposed to be as noticeable. So unlike with, say, the Nova, where you can distinctly pick out where the saucer is, pick out the secondary hulls area, and the fact that it's sort of integrated in the same way as the Sovereign class would be. The Nova is a mini Sovereign. This is what we've ended up with. It's a great design. The Equinox has sort of slimmed it down. It's smaller, as you may have noticed just then. It's all one body, and it's kind of following the same design path as the Pathfinder variation of the Intrepid line. I don't know if it's the same person that designed both ships, but the Pathfinder does the same thing of integrating and making the saucer and the secondary hull more one body. And then there's this small amount of secondary hull area that is below the ship, sort of centralized and into the deflector. As you're seeing on this ship, which I think is a fine design, looks great. It does sort of give it a belly, which I kind of think is cool as well. If you took that away from the ship, it would make it a lot more sleek, but at the same time, I don't think the ship would feel like a Nova at that point. It would feel like another variation of NX to me if you did that. So I'm kind of glad we didn't go along with that line of things. Or Gagarin, I guess. Ish. No, the Gagarin is actually more along this kind of line to be. Now that I think of that. But hey ho. This has led to a big issue in customization. You can still change saucer, hull, pylons, nacelles. And the pylons and nacelles tend to get along with each other, totally fine. I like the Quasar nacelles. I'm probably weird and the only one who does. However, if you want to swap out hull and saucer, Well, let's pull it with this one. As you can see, a little bit going on there. They don't integrate very well together. So if you start using older hulls with the saucer of the Equinox, they're not going to get along. You're also going to find stuff like, let's use the Nova, and we'll go back to the Equinox hull. Look at this mist texture. I'm glad they thought to texture it in, which means clearly they noticed it was going to be there. But it stands out like a sore thumb. It is a random black texture that is matching the texture on top of the nacelles. Yeah, having it also slightly pegged on the underside here, it just makes it more visible. They don't really line up well or in an effective manner. It's a shame, it's a pity, nothing we can do about it. It's just a side effect of the Equinox absolutely stunning look. Doesn't really want to get along with previous iterations. Having said that, there are some things it does get along with. Holes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Type 5 is what I always used to have on my Nova. Type 8B looks great on here. The Type 7A is what all future ships will be, but Type 7 still semi works on this ship. Honestly though, I do prefer 7A to 7. Have some fun with Type 0. Looks very nice on the ship, considering. And then you get, personally, my favourite of these hulls at least, the Sovereign refit. And the Sovereign is also quite nice if you want a lighter hull aesthetic. It's my personal favourite because the yellow glow it adds to the deflector just makes, in my opinion, gives the deflector a more high-tech look. I mean, that sort of gold to blue. Also, the nacelles look absolutely amazing with that gold trimming added to it. We have the NX refit, which looks very nice on this ship as well. Again, it's similar things. Instead of a gold glow, you get a copper bronze aesthetic, also on the nacelles. Looks very nice. Oops, NX itself is just a darker aesthetic look. Probably the one I would use myself if I was going to go for that look. Nova sights over really well, but I'm interested to see the warp coils going red. Not sure what's going on there. Mirror. Oh, I'm just going to say it right now. I actually like the way the mirror hole looks in this. Would have been... I would have laughed if they had done an updated texture mirror for this ship, which the other mirror variants don't have. But then again, that would have stood out if you were using, say, Nova nacelles. I will say this though, it looks good. I really hope they update the mirror texture sooner rather than later, and do it in a fashion that is more befitting of mirror ships. In the case of this ship, if I was going to say it was a mirror variant, you'd probably only see, in my personal opinion, signs of it on the actual edges of the saucer, not really on the main body area, and maybe a bit on the nacelles. Tiny bit on the nacelles. Intrepid, looking nice as you'd expect. Let's get the patterns back on so we can see what the Intrepid really wanted to look like with that one. That's got the red on the back as well, eh? Galaxy, not having red at the back, but having a beautiful blue glow. God, the Galaxy looks good in this ship. And my second favourite, Defiant, really suits the ship. A stunning look, to be sure. Now then, let's go take a look at the finer detailing. And actually, poignant point to make here. As we look at this finer detailing, I just want to note, we have got to discuss the parameters of the Nova class. Let's go. Sorry, Equinox class. Hello, USS Celestial Rose. Now, let me be blunt with everyone right now. We are looking at the latest iteration of the Nova class, right? Now, this means a lot more than just newer tech, newer design, updated look. History of the Nova class is kind of important to note. There was more than one variation of the Nova, let's point that out. Unlike the Oberth. Now, here's what we have to keep in mind when looking at the Equinox class for its design. It is the next evolution of Nova. What was the Nova? The Nova was the next evolution from the Oberth. Not very many people know that. Now, the Oberth class was an experimental testbed ship. It basically tested all of the new systems for the Federation up to a certain period. This means you could have said the Oberth probably tested the Galaxy X's Phaser Lance. It would have tested the Defiance Ablative Hull Armor. It would have tested the Rapid Fire Photon and Quantum Launcher for the Akira class, perhaps. That's the kind of thing you could have said the Oberth may have done before it was replaced. Now, this could also mean the Nova class, depending on when it came into service, was the one that tested the rapid fire launcher of the Akira class. Because the Nova class had basically two main duties it fulfilled. Short to medium range research and reconnaissance was its job, essentially. It had combative capabilities, but it wasn't the most powerful ship. It was essentially a miniaturized Sovereign class, able to do everything the Sovereign class could, but had instead of having more of a flagship, military doctrined, I am here to protect the Federation's sanctity or borders. The Nova was more of it could protect the borders, but it would more likely detect a threat to the border, and it would proceed to warn and get the fleet in place, ready to protect that border. The Nova class may have a test system in place where one Nova class has a regenerative shield generator in place, but one is using an ablative shield generator. And they're testing out these two different Nova classes, which one has the superior effectiveness. One might be testing different types of hull armor, will have half itself built out of one hull plate, and the other half itself built out of another hull plate, because again, they're testing themselves, and what better way to test than have the same ship have two armors. That is what the Nova class has been doing. Hence why it was so good as the Equinox to utilize a poor life form in its own improvement of its capabilities. There was actually, however, one that would have been much better in place of the Equinox, so the Equinox would have had a harder time pulling off this. The USS Equinox would have had a harder time pulling off this mass genocide of a species. And that is what was in STO known as the Rhode Island class. Now, the Rhode Island is not actually a separate class, it is still a Nova class, but that one was more uniformed. It took away from the modular design of the Nova class and basically took it to a more integrated and set design, set build, which meant overhauling its components and swapping out its components was a bigger job and a bigger task. Therefore, the Equinox class, the one on screen right now, so we can stop confusing people by saying Equinox for two different ships. The Equinox class on screen has got one thing in my head. It must be or look to be, capable of, I'm going to say, medium to long range research and reconnaissance, show functionality, practicality, but I'm not expecting it like I did with the Oberth's replacement. I am not expecting the replacement of the Nova, the Equinox class. I'm not expecting it to be modular. It's just something I see as a distinct difference between them. With that explained, and that did take a bit, what's the first thing that pops at you then on the ship? Really pops? Oh, for me, it wasn't anything on screen right now. It was these. Now, I did appreciate they actually brought these up in the stream, the 10 Forge stream, and these little sciencey bits. And they gave me interesting prospect of what they could be. They're scientific modules that are designed to deploy from the ship, fulfill its purpose, and then be reacquired, reconnected to the ship. So essentially, one of those would detach, slot its way out, be left behind, and it would do all the necessary scientific duties it can do in where it's been left. And then the Equinox will come back later and pick it up, re-establish connection, and the Equinox will then take over the duties that had been started on this scientific platform, so to speak, to finalize and succumb to the answers. Essentially, it's like deploying a miniature research station. You'd have had, or in a sense, a runabout, because the runabouts could be equipped to perform that kind of purpose. These may be essentially larger variants of that, because the runabout is about half the size that is. If we take the size of this ship, the runabout is about half the size of that. So you've got the space of two runabouts to work on breaking down what makes up this beautiful nebula we are magically in at this southern point. I liked the thought of that. I liked the idea of that, and to be honest, that's a good idea to me. It questions why one is so close to the deflector, because we know how, well, that deflector and all its systems will be going back at least as far as one of those, maybe taking back the entire space up to two of them. So it's very interesting to note that there's more up within the ship than that says, but then maybe that means that the deflector, bearing in mind the deflector design, could be an integrated dish that's down, but the rest of the deflector systems in that are actually up and above them. With that being noted, that deflector is relatively large, and I am very intrigued into what that is sticking on the front of it. But then it clicked to me. Most of the big ships that we have in the game so far, which show the quantum slipstream drive module at the front of the ship, that extra piece to the deflector which is used for the quantum slipstream drive, they're also very big ships. So the Pathfinder has it, the Vesta classes have it, and I thought to myself after seeing this, I thought originally it was a torpedo tube, but it's clicked to me. No, that's the quantum slipstream drive. But this ship is so small, it doesn't need such a big integration to the deflector. As a result, you have this smaller, finer piece. But also, you could say, looking at its design and the fact that there's clearly a plate there that can come away from it, maybe it was designed to be able to easily modularly equip a lance to test new phaser lances. And if that's the case, that would be very well thought out in placement, and also great foresight on whoever designed it. But you know what? That's probably not it. I'm pretty certain that's part of its quantum slipstream system. I also want to bring up around the deflector here the design of the lower secondary hull, and the way it's got that sort of lip and I'm going to say mouth section around the deflector. It's a great homage to the way the Nova is designed, as the Nova has a similar piece around its deflector. And for me, though functionality, I'm not sure what purpose it would lend. Having the extra hull piece, it is quite, if I come around here, it's quite sizable. You can see that whole void space within that area. But it's done in such a way, I like it. It brings the ship together. They could have easily not have had that void space and brought it in flush to the deflector, but I feel like having it do that would take away from that gentle, sleek feel going down that segment of hull. So, 100% beauty, great callback to the Nova, and aesthetically, very pleasing. Now, hello windows down here, giving us a good idea of the size of the ship. Hello escape pods. 6 escape pods on that lower section of hull. Happy to see that, considering I'm not seeing any others. But then again, small ship. Now, let's go up here to 10 escape pods. And note something else. Let's go for the bridge design. Now, the bridge is something on this ship that I distinctly really like. I do like the fact that we got clearly 3 decks in this bridge module area. Then it's very easy to pick out where the actual bridge module is. Very large in size. I imagine the bridge is this central area in the middle with those what looks like 6 tubes coming into it. I imagine those are probably actually the turbo lifts into the bridge. And yes, I am saying that that is a small bridge into the section, and then you've got a lot going on around it. I would say at the front here you have your sort of meeting room where the bridge crew gather to discuss plans and future actions. You've probably got some of the more important bridge officer quarters around the top section here, and then you've got your lower areas, which I imagine to be some basic science labs, recreation facilities, and research facilities. Now, it is something to be noted that this is a very small ship. I do want to go from that functioning fault here to remember this. As much as the Nova is a mini sovereign, the Nova's duties was actually more like the Galaxy class, without families. Therefore, I would imagine this ship to have all the functionality of the Andromeda class in STO's period, the basically upgrade of the Galaxy. Have all functionalities of the Andromeda, but be doing it in a miniaturized fashion. The Andromeda has, say, 20 holosuites, so the Equinox has 5. It's the way I view this ship. If we keep that in the state, we then come to these forward windows either side of the deflector. Now, the secondary deflector is gorgeous. I love its placement, I love its design, and I love the cutout for it. It's another brilliant callback. Absolutely beautiful callback. Those windows either side of it. Now, despite their placement, I have a feeling that they are similar to 10 forward on the Galaxy class. 5 forward in this case. But the only reason I'm thinking that's their duty, their purpose, is one, because the secondary deflector prevents it from being centralized, and two, as much as this is a very small ship, would it not therefore be reasonable to say that this ship probably has only 2, maybe 3 recreation lounges? You're going to have multiple lounges because you're going to have a large enough crew for it, but the lounges won't be huge in size. They're not going to be like, well, 10 forward wasn't exactly huge, but I imagine sort of, it's, if you look at these windows, I'm not thinking you're going all the way back to the back of those black lines you see behind it. I'm imagining it's only like one window, one of the large window panels depths back, and that's the way it's designed. It gives the crew a brilliant view, but also doesn't take up too much space. And I was going on that thought when I looked forward towards the front of it. So there's more windows around the ship, and this is, I'm focusing on the windows for a distinct reason. Now this is a small ship, I keep reiterating, but I have a niggly with the designer of this ship. Has anyone noticed it yet? What size is this ship based on its windows? Look back towards the secondary hull. Now, you can tell that where the Arboretum is on this ship. And that Arboretum's opening is huge. Funny that the windows on the saucer here are about the same size, but then they slim down and you're like, hang on, that's one deck getting slimmer. And then you look down and these decks are about the same size, with windows over here at half the size. So these decks are twice as big as these, and what I was calling the basic 10 forwards for this ship, they're agreeing with the smaller window size. Basically, they're just full scale. If you were to take what I was calling 10 forward and compare it to the windows here on the side of the ship, suddenly either that's one deck and those windows are only showing or opening up to 2/3 of the deck, or this ship changes size depending on where you are on it. I don't like that. I would have liked to have seen a little. I know it's done because it gives an aesthetic look and it looks great, but a little bit more uniform with the windows would have been nice. I think that was one of its weaknesses. Now we can go into one of its nice strengths. I like the mechanism design at the front of the ship here. I thought that was great, but this is where you'd normally find the torpedo tubes. So where are the... Oh. Hello! Yeah, the one thing I really thought was interesting on this ship was its weapon emplacements. So that's where we're going next. Hello, Deflector, you were looking really gorgeous at this angle. This ship has 6 torpedo tubes. That's a little bit overkill, don't you think? Personally, if I was going to design this ship, considering the Nova actually only has 2 torpedo tubes, if I was going to design this ship out here, I would have probably gone with 2 tubes on each side. Basically, instead of 6, have 4. Just because that looks like a little bit too much. However, we could play an argument. Could say it actually only has 2 torpedo tubes, and the other 4 are probe launchers. But that makes no sense, because if it can fire photon torpedoes, it can fire probes. If it can fire probes, it can fire photon torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, as such. You could say that they are different torpedo launcher types, because this ship isn't capable of firing different torpedoes via the same tubes like the Voyager could. So it's got a tube for tricobalt, tube for transphasic, tube for quantum. I'm not going to buy that either because the tubes don't look different. Honestly, that's too much firepower for a ship of this purpose. Like they said, it's a scouting ship. It's not a raider even, it's a scout ship. Doesn't need the firepower. On the same note, we're going to go up and above now. This is where things get nasty. Don't mind me, just going to go a little bit further up. There we go. So, weapon emplacements. Phaser-wise, I would say it's way more realistic. 2 phasers at the back. 2 phaser strips at the front. Not even remotely too much firepower. Very happy about that. And nope, they are not phaser strips on the nacelles. You can also go from those strip points. We're going to go underneath her. And it's the same story again, but also a little bit more practically laid out. 1 at the very back, 1 centralized, 2 at the front. Perfect. From there, well, with only 8 phaser strips, we then can look at the back of here. A little bit hard to pick out, but I'm pretty sure that's the torpedo launcher. And then there is this down here, which looks like a miniature torpedo launcher. Not even joking, it's even got the elements to it that would say it's the torpedo launcher. But if you take the size of that versus the size of that, or even the forward launchers, I'm sorry, that is not a torpedo launcher, so it would be interesting to know what that is. Okay, and from that aspect, we're going to go on to something else now. Nice bum. Okay, so this is probably the most unusual design we've had so far for a hangar bay. Not saying I don't like it. Not saying I don't like it, because I actually do. I think that's a very sound looking hangar bay. It also makes sense because if this ship was to land on the ground, if that's a door that can open outwards, so to speak, then it's a door that can functionally act as a ramp as well. I also like, in my head, this hangar bay has the 2 outer sections that actually slide into the middle bit, and then the middle bit opens down or up, or whichever way it needs to go. Just because of the way it looks, I don't think the whole thing just slides up or slides down. And if we're looking at the size of that, I also want to say that that's actually a reasonably big hangar bay for the ship of this size. Possibly holding 2 runabouts, couple of shuttles. So like, my head is telling me it's either got 1 or 2 runabouts in there, and then it will have either 4, maybe 6 of the present generation of shuttlecraft. Maybe it has Delta Flyer in there. You know, on this size scaling, the Delta Flyer might fit. It is also safe to note, though, that we have got these hatches there at the front that look like they could be hangars, but I don't think they are. But I am 100% certain that this is a hangar. Hello! So we have a lower side hangar bay that works perfectly if this ship can land on ground. There's also something to note, we have some interesting hatches. Now, these hatch points, they make me again think of platforms where you could take a runabout into, but because of the location of them, I'm going to go with no. It's not a shuttle point. I think they're literally just large hatch doors designed for docking and, of course, what you do when you dock. Another things I want to point out on this ship. Beautiful impulse design. There's not a lot to say on it, but it's following a very, what I like to say, a very nice aesthetic choice, as it follows perfectly along the original set out design of the Nova. It does look like it's been upgraded thanks to Cryptic's design it's used for the differencing in red, and also the way the grills on it are working. And I think the placement is just, it's spot on placement, spot on size. Doesn't look like it's too overpowered, but it's not too underpowered for a ship of this scale. I'm now getting on to my favourite thing about the ship. Nacelle design! Right. So here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of STO's recent nacelle designs. My absolute favourite nacelles that we've seen in this game so far are the ones we find on the Shepherd class, or the Gargarin, STO's Gargarin class, should I say. I also am a big fan of the Giorgio class nacelles. I'm a huge fan of the Baran nacelles. You can tell I like this aesthetic choice, but then it should also be noted that I'm an absolutely over-the-top fan of the Sovereign class design. The Prometheus, the Sovereign, and the Nova's nacelles, I always thought that looked gorgeous. I'm a fan of the Galaxy class nacelles. Do you know why I had to say that just then? Because that's what I like about these nacelles. These have that sense and feeling of the Nova's original design. These are triangular, just been flipped to its side. If you stuck them up like, you'd get the sense of triangle back into it. I'm glad they didn't, because that would remind me of the Resolute, and that's a nacelle design I hate. But this flat, sort of semi-hexagonal design across the whole body, it's perfect for me. The Bassards look great. We're getting nice and close to the Bassards, and you can see the inner workings of them. The cloud effect that is similar to what you find on the Sovereign class looks great. It's notable that there is one big Bassard in there. One actual, because, okay, let me make sure I'm clear here. The orange is not the Bassard collector. That's actually the Bassard shielding. So the red you normally see on the nacelles, that is Bassard shielding. It's not the Bassard collector. The Bassard collector, you can see inside there, that little cylinder. That's what's doing the job. It's notable that there's one. I don't think there's a miniature one next to it, but I do like, again, the placement of it in there. I like the fact it's actually slightly off center. It's in alignment with the module on top of the nacelle up here. Forgot, I've got my mouse cursor on so I can point at it. It's in line with that, which is brilliant, because that's actually providing power to it. I like the fact that you've got all these hatches above its alignment as well, so I believe it can easily bleed out any over-the-top pressure with the matter it's collecting. The veins and the grills look great. Now, these are accentuated by the blue glow of the warp coil you can see coming down around the middle of the nacelle here. Personally, that's my favourite aspect. If you took away the blue at the back and leave it with only that, as you saw I used on my preference, the Section 31 hull does to it, it looks absolutely stunning and still feels perfect to me. In fact, I like it more. But that's not to say I don't like this warp coil design at the back. Whoever thought to use a diamond pattern with a full exposure on warp coils, essentially, it's not actually, the warp coils are within this. Again, this is a shielding that protects the warp coils. But whoever came up with this design to sort of shroud them and go for full exposure, I'm not 100% keen On the fact that it's fully exposed up to the rear, would have liked to have seen some hull plating, hull armor going around at the back there. But at the same time, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. The 3 fins designed with the blue glowing element just looks stunning to me. And the pinstriping that literally runs alongside with it, spot on point. As a result, and these fins, I can openly say to you guys that these are at present, in game, my favourite nacelles. They're my favourite looking nacelles. I wish I could have these on all ships right now. Because I would. And I've never said that about any nacelle design that has that kind of warp coil design at the back. Where it's got no shrouding. To be completely clear, what I'm on about is the fact that at the back here, you can still see the full thickness in the blue shroud. Yeah, I would have liked white hull plating over it. I would have liked it more. At the same time, that's funny to say when I'm saying right now that these are my favourite nacelles. So yeah, win-win. Now, with that being said, vanity shield time, yeah? Enough of this discussion. Oh, but I am going to say this right now. 100%, one of the best looking ships in this game. Hands down. I don't care who wants to argue with me. I will argue with you on that one. Beautiful ship. Let's go for vanity. Oh, and for those who are Trekyard fans, I'm going to just say that right now. If you're on the Facebook page, I do have a habit of, when I'm doing this, a little bit of promotion for Trekyards here, I will go out my way to get all possible photos of detailing. So if you want to see some detailed screenshots, you can see them either with myself in Discord, because the full detailing screenshots in that manner are not members only. But you can also see these over on the Trekyards Facebook page. I will be sharing them there. Mostly because I like to have the discussion there. Just throwing that one out there because I've never mentioned I do that. Now with that being said, like I was going on, vanity shields. Oh, brief one. I've had to come back here. You know what I said about this being a quantum slipstream drive? Yeah, if I bring that up, you can see there's torpedo tubes in there. This ship has 8 forward firing torpedo tubes. Let's just keep that in mind. Way too much firepower. So I can't help diving into this right now. Let's go straight for it. First one. Vanity shields up. Get out of my screen. Ugh, you're going to keep popping up anyway. We start off with the Alliance vanity shield. Not overly what I was expecting, but also not a bad look for the ship. Kind of helps the deflector pop a little bit. Next, Bayul vanity shield. Not gonna lie, secondary deflector looks great. Primary deflector looks great. It's a nice look. Nacelles, interesting how they go from the orange to a blue to a white. And actually, I kind of like that. But, well, sorry. Blah, blah. Impulse engine had a nice cherry red to it. It's a very intimidating look. I like it. Not my favourite, though. Discovery refit. In case you want it to look like the Discovery. I've yet to actually feel like... Oh, yet to see this design and like it. I'm sorry, but the Discovery refits hull, it's brown, and I just never like brown. Would have been so bad if most of it was the sort of dark silver, like Type 5. That I would have liked. How about Discovery Vanity? See, this one's kind of better. It's still brown. It looks okay, though. And the cells have a very interesting look to them. Oh, I should have used Discovery sooner. 100% torpedo tube at the front there. They might not be torpedo tubes here then, so that might literally... Yeah, this ship might have actually only had 2 torpedo tubes at the front. Oh, and apparently they are at the back. So it's got more torpedo tubes at the rear than it has at the front. Nice to note. Next up, really bad Emperor's Vantage Shield. Now see, that's a nice look. Again, it has that yellow and blue combination that I like. Liking the yellow warp coils, but the orange that matches the facade, sorry, the orange warp coils that match the facades look really good. Great work in tandem. Possibly my second favourite at the moment. Fiklari Vanity Shield. Nice rusty look. The wood trim areas, or the wood looking trim areas, look quite nice. Also, the warp coils now look like they're sort of solid water. Almost like frozen water or ice. I mean, it's an interesting look. Can't say overly keen. Ferengi Vanity Shields. Oh, that popped. Yeah, not so keen on the... definitely not on the deflectors. It's not a bad look, it's just not a great look either. I would say age of the Vanity Shield, but the Vanity Shield is not all that old. Herc time. Herc Vanity Shield. Holy guacamole, what's going on here? It's an interesting feel. I like the fact it's got a green glowing at... Oh! Oh, hang on! Thank you, Glitch, for showing that to me. Let's go back a little bit so we can see that better. Step forwards. There we go. Look at that glitch. And what have we here? It actually has 2 Basard collectors in there. Also, I'm sorry, but when you have this happen, sometimes you've just got to have a bit of fun and get everything off your screen so you can go /screenshot. I'll be sharing that somewhere later. Oh, underscore JPG, because you don't want it to be too big. At least we now know we've got cherry red facades under that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, back onto moving. Now, what was I saying on this one? Yeah, I kind of like the green glowing elements that's in those grills near the front there. I think it's a nice aesthetic choice. I didn't ever notice glowing elements within it before, though, so I also think it's different. Kelvin. Yeah, see, that one doesn't have glowing elements in there. Huh, interesting to note. I would have thought this would have whitewashed it more, but because of the fact that we don't have the bad elements of the Kelvin screwing up inside with nacelles and stuff like that. Oh, we do on the rear, but it actually kind of shows you what I would have preferred to see in the rear. It's not great, but it's not overly bad either. And this is probably the one and the only time you're ever going to hear me say that about the Kelvin timeline one. So take it to graces, it won't happen again. Medical vanity shield. I mean, yeah, I can easily see this ship coming to our rescue, but, sorry, I was trying to find my way back to the actual command center. I couldn't see it. You can see one of these ships coming to your rescue as a medical ship or an emergency medical ship for the Federation. But, now with this paint job, I couldn't. Doesn't feel right on this ship at all. It's like Go Faster Stripes went wrong. Next up, my personal favourite, the Section 31 Vanity Shield on this ship. Beautiful textures, love the way the secondary deflector look, absolutely adores the way the primary deflector looks. The whole panels are great, it's a nice black to a dark, almost gunmetal grey. The bodywork just looks great, the panel changes and coloration is beautiful, the blue on the nacelles pops amazingly, the facades really glow well. Yeah, I'm just gonna, while I'm at it, on that train of thought, show you guys something though. For those that don't turn your advanced bloom graphics down, like mine is down at the moment, here's how much those really want to glow. That's the natural glow of them, even with standard look, that's how much they glow. And that's why I have it down to about 30%. Because I cannot stand that. Okay. Going more. Absolutely adore the way the back of the nacelles look. Think this looks absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, just overall, this is my aesthetic choice for that ship. It has to be Section 31. Which is great, because that's my fleet. Or the fleet I'm associated with. It's not my fleet, and I should never hold that kind of rank. Platinum Vanity Shield. Very shiny. I won't lie though, I do think it looks very nice. I'm quite keen on that actually. Though on this specific ship it would have been nicer for the Platinum-esque area to be a bit darker. It's still nice. Zenkefi. How to make any ship look miles bigger. What the hell? I don't like that. And I don't know why I don't like that. It just doesn't feel right. Jerfface. I do like that. I think that looks quite nice. Oh wow, you can really see the in the nacelles now. Nice red glow on the rear. Not a bad look. Next up, time to assimilate. Borg it is. Okay, I kind of get it, but at the same time, not as much. If the impulse piece is huge, it's all just huge on this ship. What the f... And just going there now really doesn't suit this ship. The basic assimilation looks quite good. But beyond that, nah. I think I'll pass. Oh, I cannot wait to get the tier 6 variant of all these shields though. Bajoran. Nope, again, it's the brown that just doesn't make it work for me. I'm sorry, Bajorans, you just don't do it for me. Counter Command variant. Whoopsie daisy. Had to excuse me a second there. I may have just had a bit of a boo-boo. Okay. So, basically, black saucer. Then we'll throw some bits of white in later. It's not a bad look. I can give it that at least. Next up, we have Delta Alliance. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. My brain has just clicked on that. With a large area of green glowing at the back, and also large areas of green glowing on the... Oh, deflectors. Mind you, the deflectors aren't that bad. The warp coils aren't that bad either. It's just... It feels weird because it looks like paint just randomly ends at the back of it. No, actually, screw it. The warp coils are that bad. No. God damn it. Solanae, save it. Ooh, Solanae saves it. Hello, Solanae. Looking very, very nice. Loving the blue aspects. And the skin works very well with the surface of this ship. Probably would have looked a little bit better if I had Sovereign skin on it. Just because I know that would have changed the texture on the warp coils a little bit. Unless those warp coils have that randomest reddish texture that's there at the moment. Is actually associated with Solanae, in which case I'm really surprised. Really surprised. Now then. Next up we have Iconian. Which is exactly what I was expecting. A whole load of no. Like literally no. It looks terrible. It's like none of the patterns knows how to connect to another pattern. It's horrific. Go away, Iconian. I swear to God. People swore, but I remember when the Iconian stuff was introduced, everyone swore by the Iconian shields and that. It's like the Iconian set was one of the must-go-to things. And I see why most people don't use them nowadays. Excuse me, I just got a shiver down my spine. Lucari. Looking very nice. Actually somewhat suits the ship. That's interesting to say the least. Very much suits the ship. Mako. Mako I like. Just, again, it's just that additional area in the glow. It's adding an on and off yellow glow to the deflectors. Looks great. And the meshing around the ship in spots just looks good as well. It's really nice. I'm keen. I'm very keen on that, actually. One of my long-term favourites, Nukara. Oh, we're going to have orange, yellowy glow in the warp coils here. What the? Okay, so the Basard Collector glow is on the warp coils. That's weird. And the warp coil glow is up here, so that's fine. Nice copper here, looks good. Very bright deflector as per usual. This is one of the reasons why I turned down the bloom. The bloom on Nukara was always way over the top. But then again, these are the folians. And this is a very nice looking hull. It looks quite good to me. I like it. I do like that look. Next up, Prevailing. That has gone off so many times in this video. I'm so sorry. But I can't turn it off just in case someone needs me. Shockingly bad. Would have been totally fine, except for where you can see the hexagon or the diamonds or the rupees. I'm going to call them rupees. When you see the rupees on the sides of the saucers, just screwed it. Absolutely ruined it for me. I mean, even down the back of the spine's fine. At the front of the pylons, fine. On the nacelles, fine. Back of the nacelles, sugar. There's another one back there. No. A little bit more thought needs to go into them sometimes. That is a 100% no from me. You suck. By Prevailing. Okay, next up, Romulan Advanced. Bet this is going to look... Fuck no. Okay, that's just weird. Excuse me. Temple Defense. Let's go walk on eggshells. Let's go walk on eggshells. Happily there ain't a lot. Okay. The oil glow isn't too bad, but it is detectably off-putting in its areas such as the hangars and the hatches. No, not keen. Ooh, Emperors. Gonna now be compared to Terran Task Force. Is Emperor's better? Emperor's is better. Emperor definitely way better than what we're getting here from the Terran Task Force, but at the same time, actually the blue glowing elements in the Basard areas at least, or the nacelle near the Basards is nice. We'll give it credit there. And then both the warp coils? Both of the deflectors look quite nice too. Oh god damn it. Trash bin. Once again, I am not looking because this is a beautiful ship and this is a horrific hull. Does not belong on this ship at all. So we should now be rotating. And I think I know how far to move the mouse. I'm just trying to steadily move it that way. If I keep moving the mouse in this manner, it might be okay. I'm not going to even make any comments on this one. I'm not going to look. I don't care. I don't like it. Right. I'm now going to hope it's off screen and it... Oh, I'm below the ship. I can tell I'm below the ship because that thing in the background there. Sorry. Jem'Hadar. Oh, wow, I was really below the ship. Did I just keep going down? Sorry, guys. Okay, that looks really nice. I think I would want the purple Bazaar collectors along with it, so I'll change out the nacelles to 100% guarantee I will change out the nacelles to the Nova nacelles. It's not a bad look. Quite fond of it, actually. And finally, the Marmite one. It always comes last. You love it or you hate it. And by that, I mean, half people love it, half people hate it. I find that with ships, it's always, I'm always either a love or hate on each ship. It depends. Having said that, there's been a few recently which have had me going, actually, I don't either love it or hate it, which is weird. Hate it. I 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 hate it. It's got the hexagon patterns around the deflector, and that looks absolutely terrible. Nacelles look absolutely fine, great. Sides and main body on the upper bit and pylons look great. Underside's brilliant. Underside looks absolutely beautiful, except for, again, the deflector. I really don't think it belongs with hexagon patterns around the deflector. I hate it. No. And I literally hate it fully because just the front cutout area for the secondary deflector just looks... No, get it off the screen. Ugh. Wow. Not very often you get that reaction from me on this one. I'm going back to my favourite. Bite me. Give me it back. There we go. Yes. Now, guys, with this all being said, it's about time to wrap up, is it not? So, can I please just say to all of you, thank you for watching to the very end of this video. I really do appreciate the time you've taken. I would also love to hear from you in the comments section what you think of this ship. Are you a fan of the Equinox? Are you not a fan of the Equinox? Do you like the design? What aspects do you like? What aspects don't you like? And what are your thoughts on the specific details of the ship? Much like I break down things and what I think they are, love to hear what you think they are. You may even give me a different viewpoint to take on for other videos. Having said this, can I also say once again a huge thank you to the incredible generosity of this channel's YouTube members, previous Patreons, Twitch subscribers, and the one-time donators. I kid you not. A donation of just £1 makes a massive difference to the Shadow Star channel. And with that in mind, that is why I'm so appreciative and so thankful to every single supporter and subscriber of the channel. You're helping my health improve, and you're helping this channel's dream become a reality. I can't thank you enough. If you wish to join the guys credited, the links are in the description. I am thinking of adding a more basic option, which would be actually cheaper than the present cheapest option for YouTube member. It will be set out hopefully to be just £1, or whatever the minimum I can get it to be, it will be. And on that same note, guys, it's time to disembark. So, if you wish to stay and remain as a member of the Shadow Star crew, please subscribe and ring that notification bell below so that you don't miss out on future missions. To those disembarking, please stay safe. And to everyone, live long and prosper. Ciao for now.